Hey y'all, welcome back to Can't Stop Talking. You're here with Sheila and Lisa, and today's going to be a little bit of a different topic. Normally we just sit around and talk about whatever, but today's going to actually be more of a serious conversation that really needs to be talked about. Today we're going to discuss domestic violence.
Yeah, that's something that we really need to get as much information out there as possible. There's a lot of people that deal with domestic violence on a daily basis, and I think it's a pretty important topic to talk about.
Yeah, there's been a lot in the news lately, so I really think more people need to really be discussing it. But before we actually really get into it, I know Lisa has some exciting news about what's been going on with her and her job.
Yep. It's been a couple of weeks since we got into all this stuff and everything, and so there's been a lot been going on. They asked me to get my G license, which means you can carry a firearm. So I went 2 weeks ago, I think?
Yep.
And you had to qualify. Lord have mercy. Let me tell you. You got one practice round, and then you got 2 qualifying rounds. So if you didn't make it in the first round, you had a second round to try and qualify. Well, we get there, and I'm assuming, because I signed up for the one-on-one training with somebody. So I'm thinking that's what I'm doing. So I leave. The qualification was supposed to be on Monday because they had it scheduled for the 9th. But when I got an email, it said Sunday would be the time for me to go and do the training. So I drive down there Saturday. I had 3.5 hours now to Lake Wales. And drive down there, and I met one of the guys that I was in class with there, and he said, we're going to be doing our training today. And I said, no, that's tomorrow. He said, no, it's today. And I was like, oh crap, my mindset's not right. I'm not ready for this. Oh my God, panic sets in. And then we get in there, we do our one-on-one training. There were like 60 people because they had 3 sets of 20 that were going to qualify. So we go up there, and the guy says, okay, so this is the practice round. So you're going to go 3 shots in each, but you're going to alternate them. So you have 2 targets in front of you, and you're going to go right, left, right, left, right, left. I have 3 shots. So we get ready to do it, and I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And he goes, the guy comes up behind me, and he goes, it's a good thing this is just a practice thing, because I'd have had to disqualify you for not paying attention. And not only did I do it once, I did it twice. So I'm sitting there going, great, I'm going to be disqualified because I can't pay attention. Not because I can't shoot, but because I can't pay attention. On the qualifying round, you have to get 168 to pass. And on the qualifying round, I got 145. And I'm like panicking. And the guy says, don't worry, you'll be fine. So the first qualifying round comes around. I didn't make the mistake. I paid attention. So I did good on that. But my score went down 10. Okay. I was like, I got a 135. I was like,
you probably had so much stress because you wanted to make sure you did it right.
And I'm like, what the hell? Who goes down? People normally go up. They don't go down. Oh my God. So I'm stressing because this is the first qualifying round. So I only got 1 more round. Thank God I said a prayer right before we did the 3rd one because I qualified on that one. So I ended up qualifying also with that company that we did the qualifying through. They gave you a concealed carry weapon permit. So I'll be getting that. I just got the thing from the Department of Agriculture yesterday saying that my license was issued. So they'll be sending it through the mail. And once I get that, then I can do things like, really it opens up a wide range of things I could work for ICE. I could do Brinks security trucks. I could work at any of the bases, any of the ports. Anywhere where they require you to carry a firearm, I could actually work.
That's nice.
It opened up a lot of things for me.
Yeah.
So
and it was what you were wanting to do, something different, and you finally found that. And for both of us, it seems like we're so much happier, and things just worked out great for us.
Yeah,
we're basically living the best life that we can possibly live, girl.
Because I stopped at Watson, I think it was last week, to see Marty and everybody and whatnot. And I don't miss it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I made the change that I made because I am a lot more calm. I'm a lot more happier. I don't dread getting up and going to work. I love it. I love it.
And so I'm happy for you. Because I know for a while you wasn't sure exactly which direction you were going to go and what you were going to do.
Yeah.
So when you kind of like focused and said, this is what I really want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And who knew? Because I didn't even know that was something that I would even want to do. Prior to Marty saying, hey, have you ever thought about security guard? And I was like, well, no, but let me check that out.
Yeah, because her husband does that and he loves it, you know. He's there by himself. He does his own thing, and when he's done, he goes home. So.
Yeah, and the people that you do interact with, it's a brief moment. And not that I don't want to interact with people all the time, but it's that brief moment. And sometimes that little brief moment makes their day.
Yeah.
Because they come in, you know, especially people coming in early in the morning, going to do a job or whatever. You're the first person they encounter that day. So you could either make or break their day.
Yeah.
And if I can make somebody's day, makes mine.
I like it.
I had one lady ask me, she said, well, how are you doing today? And I said, I'm doing pretty good. And I said, I hope everybody else has a better day than me because I'm doing pretty good right now. So that would benefit them. So she was like, well, that's a really nice way to look at things.
Yeah.
So I know you've been nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, work's been busy. I've had some new listings going up for sale. I've picked up some new rentals. I actually got a new rental in Yulee, which is a little far from me, but the couple was so nice I had to take the listing. Got tons of applications on properties that I've had on the market and getting things rented. So yeah, it's been busy.
I had a lot of sales too.
Yes, and I just got an application on Winston's property over on Melvin, so hopefully that's going to go through. So,
and I will tell you, I want to say this before you go any further. Me, just like you, I am so happy for you. You know, there's times where people do things and you get kind of envious of them and stuff like that. There's no envy there. I am genuinely happy for you, and you are doing outstanding. And when I saw that letter from one of your owners to you and to the company, that you so deserve that.
Yeah, I told Bob, I'm like, you know, when I get those letters from those owners, and like today, the owner, she's like, you're so professional and you care so much, not just about me, you care about the tenants too. And I'm like, yeah, you know, and I try to make sure that a tenant can afford, like I was telling you, I had someone apply for the property and they really didn't think they could afford it. They're mapping out how much they pay every month to this and this. And I'm like, if you are cutting yourself that close, you know, don't take the property. Don't try to live beyond your means. I know you love the property, but, you know, I don't want to have to chase you down for rent. And I don't ever want to have to evict somebody, you know, but I can't tell you not to go forward. If you want the property, then, you know, I'm going to, you passed and go forward, but if you can't afford it. And my owner's like, you know, you're so great. She said, you literally do care about the tenant also, not just, you know, me. Because, I mean, I get paid from the owner. I don't get paid, you know, the tenant don't pay me. But I do care. I generally care about what I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do work a lot more now than I did before, but it's my work. I work it at my pace and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I said, we are definitely living our best life that we could ever live. I mean, we are so happy now.
And who would have thought when we first got let go, who would have thought that we would have even felt this way?
When we started this podcast back in June or July, whenever we started it, we were like, felt so defeated. Like our life was just like over, and where were we going to go from there?
What were we going to do? Oh my God, I don't know what to do.
And I look back now and I'm like, why were you even sad? Because you've done so much better now. And I have less stress. I have no migraines. Knock on wood. No migraines since the day I left that company.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just been
less stressful, and we're a lot more happy. We laugh a lot more.
Yes, we do.
And so there's just, in a way, we kind of owe a thanks.
Yes, absolutely.
To them because, they made us go out. They did us a favor, and they made us go out and find what would make us happy.
Yep.
And
and they're doing their thing over there, and I always wish them always the best.
Yeah, and it's funny because I working in security, I hear the other security guards, some of them will complain about this or that. And I'm sitting there going, I'm happy. They say, hey, can you work? I'm more than happy to work, get out there and just do my thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do owe a thank you. I think we found our niche.
Yes, we did, definitely. And it's good. I mean, I literally wake up in the morning happy, instead of dreading what I was going to have to do all day and deal with.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Greg. I wake up and I don't dread going into work. I actually am happy to go.
Because now I just have to deal with my own chaos, not everybody else's chaos, and my chaos is fun. So, yeah, it all worked out, so... But today like we said, we're going to dive into a topic of domestic violence. And I love watching documentaries. I mean, So I went down that little rabbit hole a couple weekends ago and I watched the Made in America, the O.J. Simpson trial. And that did bring back a lot of things because I think the 90s, really, that trial was so publicized. I mean, it was on every channel. That's all everybody talked about. And whether, you think OJ was guilty or not guilty, that's not what we're going to discuss today. It's just one of the documentaries that I watched. And domestic violence, lately, you hear so many things that are going on. It's like, when I watched it, I thought back, okay, that's over 30 years ago. And really, a lot of the laws have not changed in those 30 years to really help victims that are in a domestic violence situation. A lot of women don't talk about it. It's something that years ago you were ashamed to talk about, so you kept it to yourself. You didn't tell anybody. Now I feel like it's not. You shouldn't be ashamed. You should tell someone. And if you know someone that's going through it, tell someone, talk to them.
Yeah, and if this hits close to home for any of you guys, we're glad you're here and we're glad you're sitting here. Hopefully you got your drink, coffee, water, juice, whatever, beer. No.
Yeah, right.
Whatever you want to drink. But we do want to welcome you and thank you for hanging out with us. I remember when that trial was happening and it was on TV, in the news, everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. And it was one of the most, people couldn't get away from watching it. And it was one of those moments that everybody was talking about all the time.
All day long. And it wasn't just about the domestic violence. It was race. It was the media.
Yeah.
It was so much in that trial that I think if that trial happened now, today, it would have came out differently just because of all the cameras everywhere. The media, I don't think it would have been portrayed as the way it was on TV all day long.
Because back then, they didn't talk about domestic abuse a lot. Mm-hmm. They didn't comment on it. People didn't come out.
No.
There was nothing to help them.
No.
So.
And we know from that trial, there was some domestic violence going on between OJ and Nicole. Just from the 911 tapes, there was something. But even now to today, it still doesn't seem like there's a lot of protection for women that do report it.
Yeah.
And that's the reason Lisa and I, decided to talk about it today, is because I think more people need to talk about it. Our podcast is can't stop talking. We really want everybody to not stop talking about domestic violence. Everybody should be talking about it.
Yeah.
To try to get things changed. People shouldn't. Police are arresting domestic abusers, but then they go in front of the court and then they're out on
bond
or probation. And how many times does someone have to? How many times are they going to abuse a woman? Not even the same woman. Abuse and then be let out.
Not to mention, even if the victim does get a restraining order, those restraining orders don't pay. The person that's doing the abuse is not.
Mm-hmm. Don't care.
They don't care.
No.
And they'll violate that restraining order in a heartbeat. And and any kind of domestic abuse, it's things that happen over time. It's not something that all of a sudden somebody just starts beating you. This is stuff that builds up. It could start out a lot of different ways. Verbal abuse first, and then go into physical abuse.
Yeah, it does. I even watched the Gabby Petito thing, and, she was so young. And hers did. It started out, was great relationship, and then he was, verbally, he'd call her names, and then it became controlling. He, isolated her. And who knows if that would have been different when the police did stop them that day in the van and they were having a dispute.
Yeah.
If they would have literally taken one of them to jail that night, would she still be alive? Who knows? But when you're in that situation, you don't really see, when you love someone so much, you don't see the abuse for really what it is. I mean, I lived it. I know. I dated a guy for over 2 years when I was 15. And I grew up with him. We were friends. He was my brother's friend. You know, we grew up together. His parents lived a house down from my parents. But then when I turned 15, he was 19, we started dating. And it was great. You know, we hung out, we did a lot of stuff. And then it started becoming controlling first, that I wasn't allowed to hang out with my friends. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere without his permission. If I did, I paid the consequences, because that's when it became physical. I think for me, the hardest part was because I could, him punching me or hitting me, those things went away. You didn't see those things. But all the things that he would drill in my head, that I wasn't pretty, no one was going to want me, he loved me more than anybody would ever love me, no one would ever love me the way he does. You know, he said so many times over and over that no one is ever going to want you. Oh, you're not pretty enough. Those things take a long, long time to get out of your head afterwards. So even when that relationship ended, which was a horrible relationship because he even haunted me after we broke up. He would follow me. He would come to my work. He'd push me up against the wall. I mean, he would taunt me. It took years for my husband to tell me, Sheila, you're worth it. You're not ugly, you know. But I still today, even when I get pictures done, I hate all my pictures that I do. Yeah. It's still there. So even in a relationship, the longer you stay in that relationship, it's even going to be longer getting those things back out of your mind to be able to move on, you know. So those things are, you know, it doesn't always just start out an abuse. And then you're here, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, you know. Yeah. And then you just keep going back and going back and going back. But back then in the 90s, I didn't tell anybody, you know, or it was the 80s. I didn't tell anybody what was happening with me, you know. I thought it was my fault. You know, that I was being abused, and he would isolate me from my family and my friends, and I wasn't allowed to hang out with anybody. So I never told anybody, you know, what I was going through. Yeah. And that's what I want to change now, because I feel like people are still scared to come out and say, this is happening to me. And you shouldn't, because you're not alone. There's a lot of people, a lot of women, you know, that you're not I just want you to know that you're not the only one. You know, there's people out there that definitely can help. Yeah, and first I want to say thank you, because not a lot of women can actually sit and talk about things like that later on in life because of what they've gone through. And you sharing that had to be hard. It couldn't have been easy to recount, you know, the stuff that you went through. Yeah, I mean, I literally haven't even went through all that with my daughter. I don't think I've even told her, like, my past of how bad that 2.5 years was with him. And I was going to marry him. And it's a great thing that I didn't. And honestly, I can say it's a great thing no one has ever loved me that way again. Because that's not love. None of it was love. It was just all about control. And he had control over me. And if I didn't do what he said, I knew what the consequences were. You know, so yeah, I'm glad no one's ever loved me that way again. And when people that know me now say, I would never see you in an abusive relationship because I would never take that shit from anybody ever again. But back then, like I said, when you're in love with someone, you don't see what is really going on. No, you don't. And I know that from experience too, because my ex-husband started out verbally. And it was, you're ugly, nobody likes you. No, you can't go with me here because nobody likes you. And so I was always at home and everything else. And it took a good friend of mine. I know this is going to sound bad, but she literally looked at me and said, how many times do you have to get hit over the head with a 2x4 before you move out of the way? It's hard when you're living in it to because a lot of times you don't know where to go. And you want so bad for that person to change because you're just so in love with that person, and you're like, well, it's going to change. You know, he's going to get better. He's going to do better. But it doesn't. It never gets better. An abuser never changes unless they want to change.
Yeah.
You can't change them. And I mean, I learned my lesson from that, and I would never, ever let anybody put their hands on me ever again in anger.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard when you're young. And the Gabby Petito story really hit because she was young. She was 22.
Yeah.
And she was in love with him, and she kept giving him chances because she wanted him to change, and she thought that he would. And you always hear, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I mean, I literally was told one night if I even moved from the bed that night, he would kill me. He had a machete laying beside the bed, and he told me, if you move from this bed tonight, I will kill you. I didn't move until that next morning, but that next morning when I woke up, I was out of that bed and I went home. But did it last? No. A couple weeks later, I was right back in the same situation until finally, right before my 18th birthday, the relationship ended. And it was probably the best thing that happened. Because, I was planning to marry him when I turned 18.
Yeah.
So.
Good thing you didn't.
Yeah. So
you might not have been alive to see your 19.
I would not have been alive today, I'm sure, because the woman he did marry, he did the same thing. He abused her the entire marriage, and
and she was so young, so young.
Yeah. But that's why we really want to just talk about domestic violence, because we did hear about Rachel Kerr. Her ex-husband had just got out on bond, which he should have never been out. He had multiple domestic violence charges against him, and he shot her, and then shot himself. Those kind of things. I think back at when is the law going to change to help the victims, not the victor that's out there doing these things to women. But when are we going to help the victims? When is the law going to really protect them? Because like you said, a restraining order is nothing.
No, it's nothing to them. They'll violate that in a heartbeat. And there's so much work that we need to do to get these laws changed and things like that. But what we want to do is make sure that everybody understands that it's okay to say something. I can't tell you how disheartening it is to find out that somebody felt stuck and like they didn't have any.
And they had no one to go to, no one to talk to. And now I just feel like it's more open. More women do talk about it now than they did. But it's still a big problem that really needs a lot of change. We have made some strides in helping, but I don't think we're even close to being where we need to be. The lady that just was shot down in Ponte Vedra, her and her boyfriend, it was her ex-boyfriend that shot her and him because of jealous. And he had many charges against him from other women that he was abusing. So he should have never been out of jail. I mean, I don't know how many times someone has to go to jail for domestic violence before we say, that's it. You're not going to go out on probation. You're not going to be released on bond.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a program that they have to attend while they're in jail. Maybe we have AI now so much that you could show them what it looks like for their family being abused. What would that abuser would see his mom or sister being abused by someone? Maybe that's something that could change how an abuser sees what they're doing. Because, right now, all they see is what they're doing. And I think that the law has, I don't know what the answer is, to be honest, but there's got to be a better way to help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been so many years, and I can tell you, I don't know if I told you, but when Courtney, her friend's mom, got murdered in Middleburg, Courtney had stayed at her friend's house many, many times. Her friends, the two sisters, stayed here many, many times. And she was over there on a Saturday, and the mom was separated from her husband. They had been separated for a little while, and she had a guy friend staying over because she was fearful. He had already been following her, so she knew something was going to happen. I didn't know. Otherwise, my daughter wouldn't have been there that night or any night, But he broke in the back door. He came in. He shot the guy that was there. My daughter had to see that. Her best friend, which was the oldest daughter, was there. The youngest daughter wasn't there that night. She was staying at another friend's house. And The oldest daughter ran out the back door to go call 911. My daughter stayed in the house with the mom. She didn't want to leave her. And he ended up killing her and then killing himself. I mean, that was back in 2004. And still nothing's really changed to help victims. I mean, they already knew that he was abusing her, and he was still on the street. That was a hard thing for a kid to have to see. And then 2 other young girls have to grow up without their mother, you know? Yeah. All because he flipped out and just decided one night that he was just going to end it all. And instead of, I say, you know, if you're that depressed, that gone, then take your own life. Why do you have to take someone else with you?
I always, and I'm a firm believer, and I know I'm a firm believer in an eye for an eye. And I truly think if somebody took somebody's life, theirs should be taken. No, it's not going to bring the other person back, but
and he was a coward. He took his own life.
Maybe if people understood that if you do this, you're not going to get away with it and you're going to have to suffer the same consequences.
Yeah, there has to be tougher laws for this.
I mean, you sitting in jail for life doesn't do anybody any good. We still got to pay for your room and board and everything else. I mean, there's pros and cons to it and everything else, but
I just think that if there were tougher laws, a lot of things would be different.
Yeah.
Because they would know the consequences of it. But also, you know, abusers, they need some therapy. They need some education, seeing what they're doing, because they don't see that. You know, it's all about control with them. It's never love. If anybody ever thinks that their person, their relationship, oh, well, it's just verbal. That's control. That's not love. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, all of that is the same thing. None of it is love.
If somebody ever tells you you can't do that you can't do something, walk away.
Yeah.
Because if they're starting to control with, you can't go out with your friends or because I don't like them or you can't do this. You're your own person. And my husband would never tell me I can't do something. He's always supportive. If they're not supportive in everything, I mean, they're not going to support everything you do, but if they're not supportive to you, walk away.
Yeah, because love's easy to say. People say it all day long.
Yeah.
You know, but showing it trying to control you, make you do what they want you to do, and isolate you, that's not love. They want to make you believe that's love. I'm watching out for you. And I'm doing this for you because I love you.
They say people come in and out of your life like seasons. They're there for a little bit of time and then they're gone. Even with abusers or people that want to control or whatever, they're only there to teach you what you don't want. So get away from them. Say something. Call a friend. Call your family. Call somebody. A coworker.
Yeah.
Call somebody because you need to get away from them people as soon as possible. And there's people out there that will help you.
Yeah. And there's a lot more resources now than there was 30 years ago. And there's a lot, like we said, a lot more women that are talking about it. And that's why we wanted to do this episode today, is because we want more people to talk about it. We don't want you to feel like you're alone and that you can't. It's not something that has to be hidden behind closed doors. It's not just a marriage thing between you and your husband. There are so many avenues now that you can take and get help. It's hard leaving, yes, definitely, and it's scary because what has happened to lately with Rachel Kerr, she did leave. Her husband did go to jail. He did come back. He did shoot her. I mean, but staying, it's not going to get any better. I mean, so doing something and talking to someone.
And there's always ways to get help. Always. They say that if you see somebody do this, that means their domestic abuse is happening. Please help. So they could be doing it like this. They could be doing it like this. If you see somebody do that, figure out a way to help. Get them some help. Walk up beside them, put your arm through theirs and say, hey, it's been a while since we've talked. I haven't seen you since school. Come on, let's go talk. And try to get them away.
So a lot of women are scared, of leaving and not having the support.
Yeah. I saw a show the other day, and it was about domestic abuse, and this girl was going in, she's walking down the street with her abuser. Don't know if he was a husband or a boyfriend or what. And she's walking and she does this, doing the hand sign. Mm-hmm. And these two girls happened to see her do it, and the girl went into the restroom. And so her boyfriend's standing right there waiting for her to come out. And these other two girls go in after her, not right after, a minute after her. And they walk in, they say, "We saw what you did, we're here to help." And they had her take her shirt off, put a different shirt on, put a hat on. And one of the girls and the girl that was being abused walked out, and the other girl walked out right, kind of behind them. And the guy was standing there waiting for her to come out, and they just kept on going and then got the girl to where she could get help.
Nice.
It would be nothing. Say something. Show some kind of sign. Call somebody. There's tons of people that will help you. Yep. Tons.
And like we said, we know it's not easy. I mean, I've been there. I know it's not easy to walk away. But you have your family, you have friends, anybody. Talk about it. Don't.
And it's not your fault. What you're going through is not your fault. They're going to make you think it is, but it's not. It's not your fault. And you do have every right to get out of there and have a decent life.
Yeah.
And you got the National Domestic Hotline that you can call. Their number is 1-800-799-7233. You can visit thehotline.org. Trained advocates are available 24/7, so somebody will be there to help you and create kind of like a safety plan for you to be able to get out of that situation. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they actually send people to your house
to help you. Yeah.
To help you get out of there. So it's not like you can't. There's quite a few in Clay County. Well, I'm thinking let me put my eyeballs on so
I know
can
in
see.
Green Cove we have the Quigley House, which is amazing for women.
Yep, Quigley House. You can call the Clay County Sheriff's Office. They provide information on domestic violence and resources and stuff like that. The 24-hour crisis hotline for Clay County, 904-284-0061.
So, I mean, definitely
Please
reach out
call.
to anybody. Never stay ever in an abusive relationship just because you think you're stuck there. Don't think it's because, he makes all the money, I have nowhere to go, I can't. You can. There's always somebody that can help, always.
Hey, they used to have, and I don't know if they still do it anymore or not, but where if you were in a position like that, you could call 911 and act like you're ordering a pizza and say, "I need it delivered to this house," and they would ask certain questions to help you with that. Yes, I would like pepperoni. Does he have a gun? Yes, I would like pepperoni. Is he right there next to you? No, I don't want any anchovies. Is he in another room? Yeah. Yes, that is the correct address. Please reach out.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's been decades that, of domestic violence, and somewhere we need to make sure that we are supporting women, and helping. And that means everybody coming together to make a change.
And you can always reach out to us at our email address.
Yep, and we have a Facebook page. You can check out our Facebook page, Can't Stop Talking. Be more than happy. You can send us messages through there that no one, would see. And we would definitely, here for you. We both know we've both been through some domestic violence, so we know what you're going through. We definitely, are here. And like I said, just reach out to someone. Don't stay quiet. It's not something that you have to be ashamed of anymore.
And it's not your fault.
Yep. Because that's literally what most women believe, because that's what I believe, that it was my fault. I made him mad. I made him hit me. I made him, this and that. Yeah. And that's what a lot of women believe, because that's what they make you believe. I mean, they can tear you down, and over and over and over you hear the same stuff. You start to believe it.
Yeah.
If
it's said enough, they'll believe it.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, like I said, the physical scars go away, but what's in here takes a long, long time to go away.
And I'm not sure that it ever really goes away, because there are going to be certain things that it might be somebody you know that still, and it brings it all back. You know, you never forget, but you can move on. And there are a lot of people that will help. Sheila and I are definitely one of them.
And I can tell you, I definitely moved on, and I'm definitely glad no one's ever loved me the way that he loved me. Because when I met my husband, I could not get used to him opening the door, doing all these things, you know, saying I'm pretty and that he loved me, and anything that we did, what do you want to do, you know? And I'm like, I never had the choices. Never had someone say, oh, you're pretty. I had someone tell me I was ugly all the time and that no one would ever love me. So that took a long, long time, and it took my husband a long time, I mean, many years, to crack inside, and it's still there, but to crack that open and say, you're not ugly, you know, I love you, and you come first. Whatever you want is what we're gonna do.
Greg tells me all the time, you're beautiful. Hey babe, I love you. What do you want to do? You know, and it's hard, especially when you're not used to making those decisions. It's really hard, because you think, okay, well, what do you want me to say? Yeah. But he's always been that way. He's always put me first.
You know, because I always had to ask if I wanted to do something. And then with Bob, he's like, you don't have to ask.
Yeah.
You just do whatever you want. But it was hard for the first few years of our relationship that I wouldn't just say, hey, can I do this? Can I go here? Can I get my hair done? Or whatever. And he's like, why are you asking? You don't have to ask. You can do whatever you want, Sheila.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So today's topic, I know, was a lot, but we really want everyone to talk about it, you know. And if you know someone that's living a life of domestic violence, just be there for them.
Yeah.
You know.
A lot of times you can, if you let somebody talk long enough, you'll hear what they're saying, and they'll actually start talking. If you try to jump in and just listen,
Yep.
They'll tell you. In the most subtle ways, they'll tell you.
Yep.
And there's a lot of, just remember the signs, and please reach out, because people are out there to help. And I'm really tired of hearing about how this woman or this child, or, you know, they didn't make it because of domestic abuse. And domestic abuse goes both ways.
Oh, yeah.
Men are abused also. And
yep, it's just more women, you know, are abused than men.
Yeah.
And so it's more public, you know, everybody talks about that more.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to definitely do something more to help, because the same thing just keeps happening over and over with, you know, the lady in Stark and then the lady at Ponte Vedra. I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like in the last 30 years we've made a lot of changes to the law that needs to be changed.
That needs to be changed. There needs to be something so that these women feel safe after
they leave. Yeah.
They leave.
I mean, if they don't feel safe leaving, then they're not going to, and they're going to be stuck in that same position, you know, of being abused. But they're scared to leave because of what's, you know, happening to these women after they leave. How many times does someone have to abuse someone that they stay in jail and get the help that they need, rather than out on probation or out on bond? I mean, I don't know, like I said, I don't know exactly what the answer is, but I know they need, we just can't throw them in jail and say, okay, that's it. They need some reconditioning, you know, of their mind, because we're going to let them back out in a year, 2 years, whatever, and they haven't changed. It's going to happen to another woman.
Yeah.
You know.
Not to mention the fact, you put me in jail, now I'm coming out and I'm really going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what women are scared of, is to tell, and then they get arrested, and then they go in front of a judge, and then they're released.
Yes.
You know. So that's just where we have to figure out a better way and make some changes. Yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed today, and I hope you got something out of it. And if you are, or you know someone that is in a domestic violence situation, just speak up. I mean, like we said, it's not something that needs to be you're ashamed of. It's not something 30, 40 years ago where women didn't tell anybody outside the home. It was just a secret inside your marriage. I believe more women do talk about it now than they ever did.
Yeah.
But we still need a lot more. We got a long way to
Yeah.
go. But, you know, as Lisa and I always say, keep talking.